Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm back in the garage doing an uncut, maybe we'll call it the Undercover Series of a couple of my vehicles. So this is my 2021 Porsche Macan GTS, and just having a look around it. It's tire change season, so I've got my summer tires and my winter tires. The summers are the stock Michelin Latitude Sport 3s. The winters are the Michelin Pilot Alpine 5 SUVs. Both pretty good tires in general. 265 45/20s for the front, and 295, I believe 295 40/20s for the back. They are a pretty beefy tire, especially against the trailer tire, but pretty beefy tire. And yeah, just gonna have a quick look around the vehicle, and have a look underneath as well, and just point out a few cool things. Got a light here with me, and let's go. So Porsche Macan, big brakes. The 6-piston calipers in the front, they're actually, if you look here, just right here, you can see they're actually made by Brembo, which is kind of interesting. Being a GTS, it's on air suspension, so you can see the air suspension there. And they are double wishbones, so you got the wishbones up there, and also, let's see if I can point at these as well. Down here at the back, the other wishbones. Lots of cool stuff on these too. Like you can see, those are the exit vents for the venting in the front here. So there's exit vents there. And you can also, like, stuff like this where, pardon the rattling, the brake ducting, they have a little duct in there which comes around over to here to duct the brakes, so keep everything cool. So neat things like that they've done on a Porsche that, if you watch the Lexus video that I also just posted, is a little different, right? So, and I guess just in general, a lot of stuff is pretty beefy, and you look down there, the subframe and things like that are pretty beefy. I think that's subframe anyway, yeah. And also the main suspension components are all aluminum rather than steel, so saves a little bit on sprung mass there as well, which is kind of neat. But yeah, pretty big, beefy everything up in front, and as I said, really big brakes. Dirty, lots of brake dust. So these are just the standard steel brakes, and you can clearly see this vehicle it's a 2021, had it 15 months now, and there's only 2,500 kilometers thereabouts on its, with the pandemic, I haven't been out as much. So yeah, even that, just maybe 1,000 kilometers over the winter, and that's how much brake dust is on them. So yeah, I guess that's just par for the course with these things. Just moving down along the back. Oh, I guess while I'm here, the Macan is just so much larger than the Lexus that it doesn't actually fit on lift. The jack points are fairly far apart. So what I actually did is there's a couple tubes here that I've welded together. These are 2-inch 3/16 walled tube that I've welded together and made some little skates, I guess you could call them, for the jack points that can sit on there, so that it can actually pick up the jack points. You can see they're hanging out just a little bit past where the lift goes. There's literally zero deflection. I probably could have gone with thinner tube or lighter duty tube, but wanted to overkill it, I guess you could say. And yeah, at the back here, it's a little more traditional. Still aluminum suspension, still an air spring there. The strut is separate. It's not through the middle like in the front. And the brakes are much smaller, so they're just a standard floating caliper design there again. Still, ventilated discs. They're not solid discs like in the back of some vehicles. So there's a little bit extra cooling in that sense, but they're not quite as beefy, let's say, as the front brakes, which is normal on a front engine vehicle with front engine vehicle with that front brake bias. But not as much to talk about this side of things. So I'll run around the front here again and take a look underneath. So sitting down on my stool once more here. And I guess first thing, there is a lot of underbody paneling on this compared to, like you saw if you've watched the Lexus video. There's a whole bunch more cover all the way to the front and all the way through to the back. It's pretty much covered up. So there's less to maybe see, although it is a different and interesting angle. So you can see again the suspension with the brake duct cooling. I just have two of the stands here because there's nowhere in the front to place it, and a third stand there at the back, just as an extra support. But moving along towards the back, there is some like little ventilation slots. Maybe you can see in there. Cools either, I don't know if that's the transmission or transfer case this far back, but cools one of those two things. You can't really see the engine. Like literally all there is this little slot that you can see one of the pans there. But that's actually, I think that's transmission, because these mounts, somebody makes an aftermarket insert for those mounts there that you can change out. But again, more cooling ducts here again. So that's probably to cool the transfer case there, or one of those components. But yeah, cooling ducts everywhere on these things. Yet another one here as well, and some vents some vents there too. True dual exhaust on this, so it does have exhaust. And actually, you can see a little bit more here, but it has exhaust coming from both sides of the engine. Even though it's a central downpipe, they do come out through the two turbos, two downpipes into the back like that. It's kind of neat. Continuing on towards the back, you can see again back to the dual exhaust. It opens up a little bit more back here. You can see a bit more stuff, I guess you could say. Lots of heat shielding and things like that. Fuel tank right here. This whole big thing all along there is fuel tank. Keep it on moving to the back. Yeah, so there's the air springs at the back, the lower control arm. Still dual exhaust, and you can see it actually does stay dual all the way, so it splits off basically right here to go to the two mufflers. And if I'm not mistaken, this does have sports exhaust, so there's a valve somewhere. I'm gonna assume right there, the valving in the exhaust that, like, let's see if I can point out it here, up in here, that opens and closes the one tip there, I guess, and it passes through. You can see it's a more straight. Let's see if I can get a better shot again of this. So straight through versus a little more into the muffler and out. So that's kind of neat too. Just the shot towards the back. You can see the sway bar in there. Again, right here, sway bar. Also, as usual, just kind of inspecting a few different things while I'm back here. Yeah, and maybe we'll just roll around to the other side of this, and you can see the other exhaust, the big tips here. I don't know if you can see down inside them, maybe not. But yeah, it's the two dual exhausts, a little bit of a diffuser, although how much is it really going to do on an SUV like this? Hard to say, maybe. Again, the back with the back of the brakes, the splash shield. Looking closer at the differential. So this, I actually have the Porsche Torque Vectoring Plus, which is the electronically controlled diff. So if you're ever wondering, does a vehicle actually have PTV Plus, this motor here will not be on the non-PTV Plus vehicles. So this is the extra control for the rear differential that you don't get otherwise. Otherwise, it's just the brakes that do the biasing, but this does have another motor here to lock up the differential or control that lockup. It's electronically controlled, not just a straight limited slip differential. But yeah, continuing to look around, I guess we can move towards the front. There is no hitch on this one. I opted not to have a hitch. Pulling with a dual clutch transmission just seems a little strange compared to a torque converter. So even though the tow rating is actually higher on a Macan than it is on our Lexus NX, despite that difference in transmission. But yeah, anyway, I keep rolling towards the front again here. This vehicle I haven't done any rust proofing on yet, maybe at some point, but given there's a lot more aluminum, a lot more underbody panels, there's less to really get at. You can see there's a little bit on the exhaust, but like just up here, but exhaust is always going to rust, stainless or not, it's always going to have that problem. Yeah, pretty big air shock, actually, when you look at it, eh? Yeah. Continuing towards, again, the front. What's up in here? I haven't actually looked up in there. I don't know if it's, with the light I can really see anything, but maybe we can have a look up this way. You can see the drive shaft there. pardon all the knocks. It's kind of hard not to knock into things when you're underneath a vehicle like this. But yeah, it's a lot more closed off. It is still interesting. There's an X pipe there as well. That's cool. You can see the drive shaft where it comes into the differential there with its carrier and stuff. Cool. Rolling forward again, back towards the front. Yeah, it's basically a brand new vehicle still, so there isn't really much to see in terms of rust or damage or wear or anything like that. You can see the ride height sensors here. I guess what some people do to trick the air suspension is look at a shorter link here and change that out so that it thinks the suspension is higher or lower than it actually is, and that's how they can trick the air suspension to lower the vehicle further. Although there's a calibration thing you can do as well. If you have the PIWIS, PWIS, or whatever they call it, there's also a calibration there that you can do to trick it to be lower. But yeah, not as much to see under this one. We'll wheel our way back out here. Maybe have a look down the other side once here. I guess if you ever do have a vehicle with wheel bolts instead of wheel studs, these are really handy. They just thread in and give you something to rest the wheel on while you're lifting it up, so you can line everything up. Especially important for carbon ceramics, but still really handy here just to make it easier to line everything up. These are M14 by 1.25, or 1.5, sorry. I think one might be mislabeled. It says 1.25 here and 1.5 here, but they're both threaded cleanly. It'll be something to look at after to see why. Maybe they're mislabeled or something. But they've worked all the time and they thread smoothly, so they must be the right size or the right thread pitch. But yeah, there's the wheel well. GTS badging that you can barely see. I don't know if I can even get the light. There you go. You can kind of see it there. Again, the other side, I have one of those things to support the vehicle just because it's longer. Coming around the back, rear suspension. Walk around the back of the vehicle. Gloss black badging rather than the flat black. I think it actually looks pretty nice. It was a $0 option, which, you know, Porsche has $0 options. Who would have thought, right? Yeah, not much else to really show there. I guess if you wanted to see anything else on this vehicle ever, let me know in the comments and I can do a special video just for that. But yeah, I think that'll be it for today. Like I said, oh, actually, just before we go there, you can see these do have grille shutters. These are closed right now in the front, but there are grille shutters that close off the front to help it get up to temperature faster. So that's neat too. And yeah, one of the radiators in front of the vehicle there. And yeah, you can see maybe all the bug splatters that you get in there. They make grills to cover these up that you can put in. So maybe I'll do that one of these days, although it doesn't see a lot of highway use, or, you know, it's mostly for me, it's in town and just out for fun drives, I guess, more than anything. But yeah, I guess we'll call it a day there. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.